Before we jump into the Scrum board, before we jump into the Scrum board and exploring the Scrum board, I just want to emphasize a few points regarding the Scrum framework. Scrum emphasizes teamwork, which influences team members to address complex problems and deliver the products with the highest possible value. Like, we'll take an example. We'll take the chronology. We'll take the example, a comparison with a rugby. Okay, like a rugby team, Scrum instigates the team to learn through the experiences and become self-organized when dealing with the problems and improvement through reflecting on wins and losses. Generally, it's a framework for handling a project which focuses on teamwork, accountability, iterative progress towards achieving a well defined common goal as a team, collaboratively. So, but the issue is Scrum is often assumed to be part of the agile software development process because the Scrum concept revolves around continuous improvement, which is a primary principle of agile. The framework begins with a simple acknowledgement that the team does not know about the details of every nook and corner of the project at the outset. Rather, it's experienced by adapting to the changing conditions and user requirements. Of course, Scrum is the most widely used framework in putting agile principles into action, or a Scrum board is widely used in for the agile, or in agile methodology. So then, what is a Scrum board? Scrum board. So projects in Scrum are broken into sprints that we have discussed, which are typically 2 or 3 weeks long. A sprint consists of a set of features that must be produced within a certain amount of time. So, multiple sprints may be merged to make a release, which is the formal delivery of software or product to the customer or market. It's called a release in proper IT language. We call it as a release. Okay. So, now what happens here in uh, the product owner breaks down the overall product functionality into smaller pieces. That's where the product owner comes into the picture. So each sprint or iteration prioritizes and tackles these stories. We call them as user stories. User stories. The goal of the process is for the team to be able to show the product owner working bits of the product at the conclusion of each sprint to ensure that it's operating as intended. So overall, the Scrum techniques divides the long waterfall process into smaller cycles, allowing product teams and end customers to assess functioning software on a regular basis and ensure that it satisfies their business needs. This guarantees the completed product fulfills the customer's ultimate specifications. Now, if we take one example here, we have broken down all the product backlogs into different user stories, and then those product backlogs were uh, uh, attached to the different sprints. For example, let's take a sprint one has a few backlogs, and the backlogs consists of these user stories. User story one is, as a user I should log in securely. And user stories 2, as a site visitor, I can compare different products in it. User story 3, as a user, I should submit queries regarding the products and their benefits. These are the user stories that are available with me. Now, how how Agile Scrum Board helps us to visualize visualize the flow of the project that is going on. So, for example, we will have assignees or the developers or testers or operation teams, that system admins or uh, product deployment persons, whoever it may be. We call them as assignees because uh, the product owner will assign the work, these user stories, to uh, those uh, uh, those developers or testers. So our first assignee here is Rahul. So now Rahul, each user story will consist of plenty of sub activities in it. So now in user story, one might have plenty of activities. Out of that, other people from different teams might also have involved in it. So let's take Rahul. Now for Rahul, from user story 1, some of the tasks are assigned. The first one task is identify a solution. That's his first task, that he has started and is presently working on it. So that's why it is in the box of in progress, and it belongs to user story 1. So the next thing is again Rahul. It is also from user story 1, and it's find an existing code. So he found an existing code. Because of that, the task is completed. Now it is put into the box of completed. Then Rahul, he was assigned with another task, but this time this is from user story 2. What is the task? It's write code. So he hasn't started that work, so that's why we put that in the bracket of to do. That's in to do. So then he has one more work assigned. One more work is being assigned from user story 2, that is design the pricing web page. He has already designed that. He's basically working on that. Sorry, that's my bad. He's working on that. So he's working on that. That's why it is in progress. Then even Rahul got assigned with a task from user story 3 also, that is design a feedback form. So it is in progress. That means he has started working on it. So that's how an individual can be assigned with different tasks from different user stories, and they will bring they will belong to uh, different scrum different sprints. Sorry. Then we have Charan. He's our tester, maybe somebody else. So for him, uh, compare a automatic testing. He's a tester. Charan is a tester. So from user story 1, compare a automatic testing, is that task is assigned to him. So he had to start that task. So that's why we put that task that belongs to Charan in to do. Then what we have, the another task that the tester Charan has is discuss a CTA. CTA, that's a click to action to include, whether we want to include it or not. So the task had to be done. So that's why we put it in to do. Then he has another task from user story 3, that is test feedback storage. So he hasn't started any of the tasks. That's why the tasks that were assigned to Charan from different user stories all are put in to do bracket. Then we have one more assignee, that is Jancy. She is a deployer. She's from ops team. So now what all tasks that are assigned to her? First one is release a fix. So uh, it's as in she hasn't started, that's why it isn't to do. But update or rewrite a script, this is the another task from the user story one. She has started it and she's presently working on that task, so that is the reason it is in progress bracket. And from user story 3, she got one more task, that is release code. That also she hasn't started, so that is where that is also in to do bracket. And one more task that has been assigned to Jancy from the user story 3, that is update or rewrite code from the user story 3. That is, she started it and she's presently working on this. So at this moment we can easily find that we have 3 assignees. Out of that we have a few tasks. And if you see Rahul, he has completed one task and then is working on 2 tasks. Identify a solution, update, rewrite, identify solution and design the pricing web page. These are the 2 tasks from 2 different user stories. And if you take Charan, is working on is presently is not working on any of the tasks he had to work on. And then Jancy is presently working on 2 tasks, that is update or rewrite script from user story 1 and then user story 3. This is how you can visualize, you can, it will give you a complete picture of which backlogs are going on, which backlogs are presently working on, and who is working on, how many tasks are being completed, how many tasks are being are going on, and then how many tasks at to be started. So that's how you get a complete picture of the project from the Scrum board. This is how it looks.